When Rogue of the X-Men is finally introduced into the MCU, should she have a relationship with Carol Danvers? Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and in the comics, Rogue has the ability to absorb superpowers. That's kind of her big deal. But for a long time, she had the same basic powers as Miss Marvel, aka Captain Marvel, when she absorbed a lot of her life force and held onto her powers for a long time, which made Rogue into a flying kind of Superman type on that front, because she was incredibly strong, she could fly, she was super durable, she was the flying brick on that front. But her primary power is the ability to absorb other people's abilities, and when she was first introduced, she took down the Avengers single-handedly by slowly absorbing each person's powers and taking them down for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, because she did start out as a villain. Now, I don't know if the MCU is going to start that same route where she is a bad guy at first and then becomes a good guy on that front, but I am debating on the part where, does she need to have Carol Danvers' power in order to make her the Rogue that we are familiar with? Or should we go with the fact that she does absorb a lot of superpowers, and that would make her a more dynamic character in terms of her ability in the story and just visually on that front? I debate on this because, on the one hand, I do like super powerful, strong Rogue on that front, but on the other hand, I do think the fact that she could potentially absorb multiple people's powers and use them against him is way more interesting as a power set, and I kind of want to see that more than I want to see another flying super strong person in the MCU. We have just enough of those that I don't think Marvel has done something super interesting on that front that makes me be compelled to want more of that. Whereas we haven't really had an enemy who can absorb, or a hero who can absorb multiple powers and use them in interesting ways on that front. And I think that's way more exciting on that front. So I don't think I want Rogue to have a relationship with Carol Danvers, is what I'm saying. Or if they do have a relationship with each other, I think it should be more interesting than just Rogue puts her in a coma. I want something more substantive than that. And I don't know what they would do with it, but I do want something that has something more interesting than Carol Danvers is gone for a couple movies because she's in a coma and then she comes back, because that doesn't really work on a movie scale. It works in comic books where you can have that as the status quo, but movies are a little different, and I just don't think that's something that the MCU should rely on that front. But let me know, what do you think about what Rogue's place in the X-Men and the MCU should be?